Hi, and welcome to today's episode of The Supporting Actor. I'm your host, Adrienne Streeter, so let's jump right into it. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Supporting Actor. I'm Adrienne Streeter, your host, and I'm very excited about today's episode. If you know anything about me, y'all know I love to travel. I love a good bargain, I love a good deal, and we've introduced travel to our girls. We've had some challenges with Ari's condition while traveling, and it didn't stop us, but there were some challenges. So I'm very excited about our guest today. But before we bring in our guest, don't forget to like, click, subscribe, and share our content so that when we do upload new content, hit that bell notification. You'll get that notification. So in the meantime, y'all, help me welcome my friend, Michelle Druitt from Awesome Families. Come on in the studio, Michelle.
Good
Hey,
morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm good, Michelle. I'm so excited about our conversation because
Yes, I am too.
you know how much I love travel.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's jump into it and give our audience what they're looking for, all that good information, those nuggets of information that's going to help them. So,
Okay.
Michelle, tell us a little bit about who you are and how did you become interested in planning travel for families with special need children?
Okay. I am a parent advocate for autistics, parents, and caregivers, and I am an autism travel professional. My son is 26 years old. He's autistic. And we do a lot of moving and shaking. My oldest son lives upstate. So once a month we were taking the bus up there. But prior to that, we had gone to Bermuda on a cruise.
Mm.
And after that cruise, I saw significant change in my son. The irony of it is, like I said, we move around, we try to reach not out of the country, but we go down south, because we have relatives. But this is how God is good
Oh,
and also has a sense of humor. I was talking to a woman from networking, and she was telling me about the travel business and how wonderful it is. And she said, "Yeah," she said, I know you're always putting up pictures of you and your son when you guys travel." She says, "You should join my travel businesses, which is it's called IntelliTravel." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Ooh, this is gonna be good for me and the captain and all our people. We gonna run all over the place. We go," and I was just making plans. So now this is the funny part because she said to me, she said, "You know what?" She said, "Did you ever think about doing a cruise for your moms? For like a family cruise for your group?" And I looked up and I said, "Okay, I get it." Because my former business partner passed away from COVID. God rest his soul, and I miss him so
I'm
much.
sorry.
Mr. Robert Robinson and I were going to do a cruise for special needs individuals and their families. So in my head, that was God saying, "Come on, sis. Now I told you this once. Let's go, daughter. Let's go."
Yes.
And so I started a Facebook group, and I just went in there and said, "Who would be interested in traveling with their special needs, the special needs members and their families?" And I got such an amazing response.
Wow.
I was shocked, and everybody, everybody was shocked, but nobody was more shocked than me. Uh, the responses were so enthusiastic, they're amazing, and I connected with a group of women in Chicago that has a group for the mothers of uh, uh, people on the spectrum and autistic people and people with special needs. And her
Mhm.
and I got together anyway to Royal Caribbean. I flew and I started talking to them and going back and forth with them and telling them what I wanted and blah, blah, blah. And I coordinated with her. I had just as much fun preparing and getting ready as I did on the cruise. When we went on that cruise, these were women that I never met,
Mm.
but you would never know it. Uh, Felicia, which is the one I became specifically attached to her and her two sons because I had my two sons with me, but only my youngest son is autistic. My oldest son was going to take pictures. This was his first cruise. Him and his brother went off one time. We couldn't even find them. But but these are the things that I look forward to and what I was talking about. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this every year. And as I was plotting and planning, because sometimes you gotta, the plotting comes from second guessing yourself and dodging and talking yourself out of it.
Yep.
And we had such a good time. So it wasn't hard at all to put it together this year. And this year they're going, but I can't go because my cousin is getting married, but they're going back to the Bahamas. And let me tell you something, if they were going someplace else, I'd figure it out. But I mean, I'm only joking. Honestly speaking, I've got too much on my plate to juggle next year. We're supposed to be moving, and then my other business has a conference, and then the travel business has a conference. So I would like to make all three of them, but I know something is going to have to go, and I may forfeit the travel. Well, then again, that doesn't make sense. I'll figure it out. But yeah, you know how we have to do.
Yes.
So I'm going to figure that out. But I said, well, Felicia can handle. She can handle that thing. And I talked to her, and so what I said I was going to do for her, as going in my place, and because once they meet up and get on the boat, they can do whatever they like.
Mm-hmm.
We just chose because we met. We had dinner the first night together, and they went on about their business. I went on about mine. But Felicia and I, we met a couple of times. We met for lunch, and we met so our guys could get in a jacuzzi, and we had drinks, and we had a wonderful day that day.
Love it.
But they're not obligated to hang out with the group. But the thing about it is, they can travel knowing that there's somebody on that ship that gets them. And if something happens, and we all come running.
Yes.
That's very important. They're not alone. And I know that a lot of us moms at one point or another feel alone and we're isolated. It's just like, there's nobody out there that gets me. I'm doing this all by myself. And I would just want them to know that that's not true.
Well, I know through this process, you have taken it further. You didn't just plan that one-off trip from Facebook. You actually went to the next level and you went and got a certificate.
Yes,
So
I did.
you are a certified autism travel
professional. Yes, ma'am.
Tell us more about that process that you had to go through to achieve that certification.
I am big on support. So I belong to a couple of autism mom groups. Black Autism Moms, that's one of my favorite groups over everything. Isn't that where I met you?
No. So let's tell the audience how I met you. So I had just joined, my PR rep told me about this Black women support group on
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
And we joined the group, and the very day that I joined the group, you had just put up that you had gotten your certification in autism travel.
Okay. Yes.
I have to meet her. So I reached out to you via Facebook.
Yes. And I remember that conversation. Listen, let me tell you something. This is about God being good. So I got the information because the Black Autism Moms, that's a group where there are about 12,000 moms.
Oh, wow.
And if you're not in that group, I'm going to add you to it.
Yes, please do.
And let me tell you something. These women are phenomenal. Not these women, we are phenomenal. You and I and them are phenomenal. And this is why I honestly believe that God has given us this resource, because it's a powerful resource. I go in there all the time and shoot off and tell them this and tell them that and introduce them to different people. Like I know God is a behaviorist. So someone put up, I got my autism professional travel certificate. Because now let's not forget, this is a group of 12,000 women. So there are travel agents in there, but in that group, we don't talk about business.
Mm.
Not we're not supposed to, not really. And just by the grace of God, when the lady that put that up, I said, "Well, how did you do that?" So I took all the information. I reached out. IBCESS. I forgot what it stands for, but um, I'm not going to rack my brain. Anyway, they are they are amazing. So I looked through it, and then I realized that Kevin has an account with them. So then I said, okay. Now the thing about this is that this is why I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, is because when I looked at the questions, I said, "Thank you, God," because see, without any knowledge of autism, it's going to take you a while to get through that. I got
Yeah.
through it in one day because I already knew most of the answers, but I
Wow.
also learned some things like about autism, and it's called autism and other uh uh I don't like the word disabilities, but different abilities. Medical, now medical we can use disabilities for that, but
Yes.
not, yeah, but about autism and other issues, other health issues
Yes.
called co-modalities.
Yes.
I knew about that, but I never knew what the name was for, and I began to dive into it. I started like around 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I couldn't do it because I had to wait for him to go to program. So we'll say I started about 10. And I had finished it by 7 o'clock that night. Because
Wow.
all I did was go back and forth to the kitchen, go back and forth to the bathroom. I had the phone with me. It's a lot of training, and then it's multiple questions. And the thing about it is, if you don't get at least an 80 or 90%, you can't move on to the next level. Some of them, the majority of them, I breezed through it because
Mm.
you know, my son is 26.
Period.
I've been in this game a long time, so a lot of it, I remember, and I said to myself, "Thank you, God, because this is going to help people have more confidence in me and what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do."
Yes.
And I was so proud of myself because a couple times I said, "You know what? They don't care whether I'm an autism travel professional or whether I am, or, or whether I'm the Easter Bunny." But that's not true. Just like when you go to a doctor, you're not going to go to you're not going to go to somebody that has got a medical practice that doesn't have any training.
That's right.
So, and I mean, and I think that goes for a lot of professions. People have more confidence in you and will rely on you more if they think that you have prepared or this is something, and that shows that you're serious about it. So I was glad to be able to get that. And matter of fact, I just put it up on LinkedIn, and so I guess at one point today I'm gonna go back there and check that because I requested for a lot of people that I know are would be interested in awesome families, or at least passing information along. So that travel certificate, that was a win-win for me.
And you know what? I did a little bit of research before you and I met today. And what I learned is just in the United States, not worldwide. Now, this certificate is a worldwide international
Yes,
certificate.
it is.
But what I learned is just in the US every year, 260 plus $1 million are spent on just autism services alone in our
Mhm.
country, and less than 1% of that is focused on travel. So you have a huge area of growth and
Yes,
potential for what you're
yes.
doing for the community. So I want to commend you, Michelle, for getting that
Thank you.
certification and providing a service that's often overlooked,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
it is needed.
Yes,
So I know that you provide, an array of services for families with
yes.
children with autism, but your services aren't just for families with special
No,
needs.
ma'am. No, they are
You
not.
also support the parents who travel or want to travel. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay. Um, I am a huge supporter of empowering
Mhm.
and self-care, even though sometimes I fan it down. Because you heard me just talk about eating Pop Tarts and I'm a diabetic. But anyway, we need care too. The moms and the dads and the caregivers. I'm
Yes.
not saying that they forget about us, but we forget about us.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
it's very sad. It's I have a story. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not going to share that right now. But I want to say this: we need to have respite too.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have a space because as a community that's kind of isolated, well, we got each other.
That's right.
We have each other.
That's right.
I don't know the statistics, maybe you do, but I know since my son was diagnosed at 2, the population, the special needs community, the autistic community has grown. There are more parents going to get diagnosis, and the numbers are growing. I
Yeah.
don't get into research or cures or anything like that, so I'm not even going to touch that. Uh, but I will say this: there definitely is a need. There definitely is a need for us to practice self care so that we can take care of them. So
Yeah.
that's why I created it, and also too because I looked at something and it reminded me of my husband, of the dads, like your husband, Mr. Douglas, of the dads. There's nothing for them. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have something for them too. And now you know what? I think I just got another partner, you and
Good.
your husband, because your husband can help. You and your husband can help me gather together some dads. I listen, I know two dads and they both have young children. I don't know a whole lot of dads, but I want to give them some recognition as well. Pat them on the back because they're doing a phenomenal job too. So we're gonna talk about that later. But right now, St. Lucia 2025. I'm calling it awesome in St. Lucia, girl. Yes, I am.
2025. Wait a minute here now, Miss
2025.
J.
Pack your bags. Pack your bags. We go
Listen,
and what and right. That's
I'm
right.
there.
Right. And moving forward, I'm looking to have maybe two, two trips a year for families. One can go this way, and 1 or 2 trips for for moms, one for dads, one for couples. A few trips, throughout the year. Right now, I'm just starting off with the annual cruise. So we're
Mhm.
gonna have the annual cruise. Now, the annual cruise doesn't necessarily have to be to the Bahamas because it wasn't going to be to the Bahamas this year. But since Felicia was coordinating it, she wanted to go back to the Bahamas. So I said, okay, she lives in Chicago, and a lot of the moms, matter of fact, all of the moms are from Illinois, from Chicago.
Wow.
Uh, I couldn't get any of your moms in New York or any place else, but that's coming. Uh, but like I said, I have a group, and that group and before the website came, that group was how I, got them together and kept them informed. So I told them it was going to be awesome in Aruba, but it's going to be awesome in St. Lucia. That's what it's going to be. So I'm doing my research for that now.
I
Um,
love it.
yeah, we're gonna do some things. I'm very proud of God giving this to me so that I can. My grandmother said, in order to receive a blessing, you have to be a blessing.
That's
I'm
right.
not doing it because I want to receive a blessing. I'm doing it because I have been blessed. So I want to bless others.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
absolutely.
And I think going back
Absolutely.
to your point earlier, I did read in my research because I do like to research before I
Yeah,
have a
you and me both. Well, we're gonna have some fun.
it and this statistic is just based on the United States. It's not worldwide. I'm sure the numbers would change drastically. But 1 in 44 children are diagnosed with autism in the United States. And that is a real true diagnosis. That does not
Okay.
include the children who are either waiting to be diagnosed or
Mhm.
those families that um, see something or won't acknowledge
Right.
that something may be different for their child.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's just for diagnosed individuals. So 1 in 44. I'm sure that that number is probably lower if we encompass all
Right.
of the known and unknowns that I just mentioned, but That's just kind of going back to your point earlier. So
Mhm.
you have a plethora of people who could join any of your cruises that you're planning.
Right,
So
absolutely.
I know you and Felicia that you met through the Facebook group, The Mom in Illinois. You all have probably had some bumps in the road. You probably had some things that you've learned. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned from your first trip to now.
Mhm.
Like, what have you learned about the travel industry or just traveling with your child?
One of the things that I learned is that a lot of parents and caregivers don't travel because they don't know that there are accommodations for us. For instance, TSA Cares, I found out about them, and I found out about them through Felicia. Um, and then as I dug deeper into it, I learned that there are quiet rooms in the airports, in some airports, for them.
Wow,
Yeah,
I didn't know
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. And with TSA Cares, when because when Kevin and I flew before, we just because he's for the most part he's used to being in, but then you know what I say, autistic people are predictably unpredictable. You never know when something is going to trigger and
Yeah.
boom. So I always have the necessary things. So one of the things that I found out about, like I said, was that quiet room, and I also found out that the airport staff, wherever we went, they were absolutely amazing. They met us at the curb, but one of the things I wanted to let moms know, caregivers or families know that are travel, whether they travel with us or not. These are the things that are there for you. So
Yeah.
when you go traveling, before you go, a month before, call TSA Cares, let them know you're coming, and they'll give you a number when they check you out, and you could call them and say, well, you know what, I'll be there tomorrow, such and such and such and such time, and they will meet you right there and walk you through security.
Oh, wow.
That's that is awesome for us. You
That
know,
really is.
Not only will they walk you through security, listen, they get you through security, and when the boarding area where the waiting area is, you're right there in front. You're right there in front, and you board first. And none of that. You get on first. Now we got on like wheelchairs and stuff like that. I was in a wheelchair. My sciatica was bothering me, so we got on in a wheelchair. And when the plane lands, there's somebody there to meet you. Uh, somebody there to meet you. You know, when
At
the
your
plane
destination.
deboards, yeah, to
Mhm.
take you to get a cab or whatever you're going to get. So that was a valuable piece of information that I learned. And one of the things that I tell the parents is this: don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to find out if there are accommodations. Because what if you don't ask? The answer always will be no.
Always.
Always. There's no if, answer, but about that. And let me say one thing about me. I'm not afraid to get on the phone, or I'm not intimidated by people. I'm not. I don't go around intimidating people, but I just feel that there's no other way for us to get information if we don't communicate with one another.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
That's right. And I think I know a parent in my head, her son has autism and he likes routine. And that has been the biggest blocker for her and her family to travel because they just struggle with a day-to-day routine and he doesn't like anything different than the norm. And she is actually getting ready to take a trip by herself because she loves to travel, but she can't because not with her family. I'm not gonna say she can't.
Right.
She's not aware of the services that you're mentioning, not
Right.
knowing
Yes.
that TSA has a quiet room, or
Yes, they do.
I know if you call your airline, you might even be able to say, "Hey, I need to sit in a quiet area before boarding." You might have
Absolutely.
to pay to get a day pass or something to one of their lounges, but
Absolutely. Yes, you can do that. You can do that. You
airlines
can do it.
work with you to
Mm,
keep you as best contained for your child's needs. And so I thank you for giving that information because I didn't know that. And I think that if I didn't know that as a traveler, I am certain most of our audience members
Doesn't
didn't.
know that. Yeah, doesn't know that. And one other thing too. Um, that's where the training came in because they were very transparent about that, and they said enough people don't use the service probably because they don't know it's there. And they also one of the other things too, I learned a lot of things like, and that's why I'm going to do travel training with awesome families. Uh, like to remind them to make sure you pack a little bag that you take with you that'll have the headphones in it.
Mm,
And headphones, a hat, and sunglasses because that blocks out some of that too. I mean, if this is something that your child is used to wearing a hat or sunglasses or something like that, we don't want them to be black and blue, but that will dim down some of the the
the
noise.
lights
Yeah,
and
the
the
noise and the light. The headphones, the same thing. So these are all the things that I learned from the travel training, and listen. I recommend it to any and everybody.
but I recommend they contact you. That's where I'm gonna
I
recommend.
recommend they contact me. Yeah, I recommend they contact me. Yeah,
How,
that
how could they contact you since we're recommending that they
right.
reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping that if nothing else, I'm providing hope,
Yes.
saying, you know what? Listen, if you want to do this, I'll walk you through it. Listen, we have the tools, and I know moving forward, like I was saying, I can't go on this one coming, uh, because I actually, to be honest with you, I actually said, well, you know what? Maybe I'll take a break. We'll take a break. They said, no, you're not doing that. No,
No,
no, no,
people
no,
right.
no,
Right.
no, no. And then I realized, and when uh January hits, I'm gonna start looking at something for 2026 while I'm planning for 2025 because I know that this is gonna grow. Um,
Yes, it is.
the lady that did my website, she did some beautiful flyers. I'm gonna be handing out flyers. Um, I'm going to make some arrangements to speak at some schools. Uh, because like I said, we've been in the community for a while, and I saw a bunch of people from the agencies I deal with on LinkedIn, and at 3 o'clock this morning, I was going. They probably said a couple of them I know, and I know that they don't know what I'm doing, so I was informing them, and just and I also want to give the moms an opportunity
Mhm,
because they can become a travel agent too. If I did it, you can do it. Like I
mhm.
said, providing hope.
What's your company's website?
My company's website is intellitravel.com. Well, I have to, my link, they would have to go to, I want them to go to my link. I have to give that to you.
We'll put
I'll
that in
send it.
the description for
Okay.
you. How can they learn more about Awesome Family?
How
What's
they
that?
can learn more about Awesome Families is awesomefamilies.org.
Awesome Family.
AUSOME families, FAMILIES.org.
Awesomefamilies.com. I love it. So I
Dot
know
org.
go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead.
Awesomefamilies.org. You said .com. You
Oh, I
scared
said
me.
.com. Ooh,
You scared me.
.org. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. I'm
.org,
gonna
.org,
I'm in the
.org.
process of I'm in the process of setting up a non for profit as well. So
Yes, I
because I
love
want families that are financially challenged, like myself, to be able to uh go on a cruise or go, I have a lady that's in Florida that's building a special needs camp. That's gonna be awesome too. You should
oh,
check her out. She's
wow.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm partnered with her. And on my website I have resources. Um I have a behaviorist, Mr. Chris Lake. I have a retired teacher that specializes in assisting with IEPs, Ms. Jane Broby, the founder of Tiffany Towers, Miss Tiffany, I forgot her last name. but well, Tequila Towers is the name of the project. That's the special needs mini camp. So we're going to all be able to go to camp with our kids,
I
and I
love
believe the camp is free.
I love that, Michelle. Yes,
Yep,
please connect me with her,
I
and
will.
we can definitely try to get her onto a future episode so that
Mhm.
we can learn more about her services and the camp, because that's another big issue for families, whether it's summer camps or if the kids
Mhm.
are out for the week of Thanksgiving or for
Right,
Christmas
exactly,
and you
exactly,
still
exactly.
have to work.
Right.
Um, so yeah, let's definitely connect with her,
Yeah,
so that we can provide that to our audience. Now,
yeah.
this is my last question. I kind of know the answer, but for our audience, so it sounds like you've already started planning 2025 and soon to be 2026.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you have any trips planned for 2024, or are you in the middle of planning any trips?
No, oh, the trip for 2024 is already on the books.
Come on.
Felicia's Felicia is taking over that, and I told her, um, and this is what I would offer to anyone who can get a group together, and we can put them, and they could tell me where they want to go, or we could talk about where they want to go. The person that coordinates it gets to go free.
Stop it.
I'm able to offer that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give up my commission to them. They gotta pay for it up front, and I'll give them my commission so they can,
Go for free.
go free. Yeah. Well, not
Wow.
my entire commission, but just
To
because
cover the
half,
trip.
right, just paying for the cruise now. We're not paying for you and everything, but the other part of that commission, I'm gonna also be donating to awesome families.
Yes, I love that. That's one of the things that I talked to my husband about, having a nonprofit so that because we believe in tithing,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we wanna be able to make sure that any revenue the business earns, 10% of that goes to the nonprofit arm to help serve the community, for those
Absolutely.
who can't. So I love
Absolutely.
hearing that other businesses and organizations are doing the same thing. That's awesome,
Yes,
Michelle.
absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Michelle, this has been such a great conversation. You
This
have
was
given
wonderful.
so many tips and tricks because I never even thought about having the sunglasses, the hat. I like just these tips and tricks to help families travel and not only help them travel, but they could also use those tips and tricks in the day-to-day transition of
Absolutely.
life to help their
Absolutely.
child. So I think it's worth, even if you're not planning a trip, if you are not looking to travel or didn't think you could travel, I say reach out to Michelle. She will
Absolutely.
I know Michelle's heart. She will actually follow up, reach out,
Yes. You know,
questions that
like
y'all
I was, Adrian, hey, Adrian, are you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle is a knowledge. She has so much knowledge. So please, 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 awesomefamilies.org is how you can contact her. And then in the description, her link to her travel agency where you can book travel. Can they book travel before we go, Michelle? Can they book the
Yes, I'm gonna give
2024?
you. I don't know how I'm gonna give you the link, but I'm gonna give you the link where they could book travel on their own.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, again, Michelle, awesome conversation. Thank you for your
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Adrian.
nuggets. It's been an amazing show. Appreciate the work that you're doing, my friend.
Thank you so much. God
Take
bless you. Happy
God bless.
holidays.
Take care. Y'all, I'm a travel girl, and so I love talking to Michelle. I might even have Michelle back for one of our future seasons, maybe when they come back from their 2024 voyage, because I want to hear all about it, and I kind of want you to hear about it too, because I want you to understand and know that all things are possible, even if you didn't think it was possible, especially around travel. If you remember early in the conversation, Michelle talked about how that first trip really changed her son. And I think sometimes it's difficult to get out of our environments, but it's important that we do and show our kids the world. Well, in the meantime, y'all, stay tuned. We have an awesome season ahead of us. and we thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that when we do upload new content, you are aware. In the meantime, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.